I did this one in pieces. What the hell? Response to Hythloday again. Or whatever. Response to, reaction to, whatever. So we have the same old, first 5 minutes, the same old rag. Plays the videos. Don't do that. You're playing the video is somehow a cheat or whatever. And so he's doing exactly the same thing. So now he thinks the way he's going to win now is to play my video and respond. And I'm sure he'll make a mess out of it. He already has, in the sense that he played my clip and then he talked about something completely not related to the clip at all. So it's all quite obvious and blah blah blah. So we'll play a little bit of this just for the hell of it, see if he says anything interesting. Which I is doubtful.
Accepting the difference, but driving at a different point.
Yeah, look, your point can't make any difference to me. I've already pointed out, if you're not describing reality, if you're not describing the truth, I couldn't care less about your subjective made-up value schema. Okay, if it isn't real, if it isn't a description of the truth, I just couldn't care the fuck less. I care about no theory that does not claim to be a description of reality. If the claim isn't it's a description of reality, then I just couldn't care less. I just couldn't care less. There's no way I could care less. It's a fable then. It's Goldilocks stories. Why the fuck would I waste my time listening to somebody telling me Goldilocks stories? You're either describing reality or you're describing nothing. Pretty clear. So I'll play some more of this and see what happens. Alright, 8 minutes 22. So he says, I've been saying the same shit for 7 years. I've not addressed his point. Again, what is his point? That value should be subjectively made up by people valuing. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's not my definition of value. Value is something that we can make the category, and I've described what fits in the category. Things that can feel, that can be harmed, go in the category of valuable. You said you have this opposing argument, or you somehow made an opposing argument. Where have you made it? Where's your explanation of how sentience does not earn something being put in the category of valuable? You haven't. You haven't made any counter-argument. You've just said, not to me. I don't think sentience fits in the category of valuable. That's your statement. That's it. Prove it. That's what you've said. Idiotic things like that. I don't have to prove it. My own fucking consciousness makes me aware of how powerful consciousness is. The other consciousnesses are having the same powerful experience. It's obvious to me. My brain says fix it if I'm in pain. No fucking doubt about it. Where's your counter-argument? Oh, that's right, your counter-argument does not exist. You just keep saying value is a verb. You keep telling me valuing is like treeing or geography-ing. You keep turning everything into a verb. Well, that's your business. That's your fucking problem, okay? I'm saying no, it's a noun. It's a description of something. Something either has it or they doesn't have it. It's no verbing going on here. No verbing necessary, okay? The world exists. We're trying to describe it. Either you're trying to describe reality or you're not. Again, back to the point. Why would I engage in a conversation about subjective made-up fairy tale talk about value? You're either describing what is actually valuable or you're describing shit. It's not complicated. Alright, so here's where I said something like, I got no help for you, you're, whatever. Something like that.
Well, then you don't understand what it means to value.
Again, to value. I have not had a conversation about to valuing. All my videos have been described as value, not valuing. I don't use the word valuing. Okay, inging is not important. I'm describing reality. Either something has value or it doesn't have value. The inging is useless drivel. I don't give a fuck about who's valuing something. That is not necessary to whether it has value. Again, I can't make it any clearer. I'm not going to verb, okay, categories. Categories are not verbs, they are nouns.
It's a fancy word. The full form of the verb. Infinitive. It's a
infinitive? I don't even know what that means. So, well, whatever. I'll try to suffer through some more. It's just so difficult. Alright, 1220. Yeah. So he's basically, when I made the point, values a fact in the universe. It's a non-starter to have this conversation as if you want to talk about verbs. I don't want to talk about verbs. I don't care about verbs. I don't care about non-objective anything. Okay? If you're not going to have a conversation about the truth, I don't understand why I should care. What should provoke me to give a rat's ass about made-up stories that people tell each other about what value is? Either there's hope that somebody's got the truth, or there's no point in having the conversation, in my opinion. If you're saying there's no real value, then there's no fucking point. Why have this intersocial agreement bullshit if you're saying it's just bullshit? If it doesn't describe reality, then what's the fucking point of it? It has no point at all. So he says that no intelligence gets to value. He says that's how you don't understand value through intelligence, through knowledge of the capacity to feel, my ability to understand that the other organisms feel. That knowledge doesn't fucking enlighten me and make me understand value more expansively. Of course it does. And he calls it arbitrary. Again, he uses the word arbitrary. So you live in a world where people died of radiation sickness in World War II. And, people have, whatever, Princess Diana gets married and there's a big wedding. Well, and then she dies tragically in a horrific car accident. But anyway, and he's going to tell me it's arbitrary. That making a distinction between horribly suffering and dying in a horribly disgusting, awful way of, like, flesh-eating disease and eating a cupcake. It's an arbitrary distinction. One is just as good as the other. We're back to this nonsense again. Why, how can anybody take that seriously? How do I make any sense out of that? That can't make any sense. It's impossible for that to make sense. It's insane. Yeah, I'm wasting my time talking to people who are fucking insane. He's insane. Arbitrary. Arbitrary. I mean, fuck. You can't get any less arbitrary than the difference between a broken leg and, I don't know, watching a good movie with popcorn and such. I forgot to play his dumb. Let's see what he says here. I don't know what he's going to say. I didn't play.
Well, he'll fail to explain how I can't do that. But I will explain how I can. Yeah, so he's interjecting again.
yeah, like you're doing. Yeah, at least I'm on the point. You haven't addressed a single point I make in a single one of my points. You just keep complaining about, oh, there he goes again. He's blah, 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 blah. You're not making an argument of any kind, ever. Yeah, I'll prove that the next time, right? The clip will prove it the next time. This was too short a clip. So anyway, till next time. Oh, he really is insane. Okay, so he's always going to make this qualification that everything's just about some sort of, what people agree value is, and that's the standard. No proof required, no evidence required, just agreement. Good and bad, he's saying, is not demonstrated through sensation. So sensations aren't intrinsically good or bad. So again, he's negating the reality of pain as being any different than pleasure. Evaluatively, that one can't be distinguished as good or bad in and of itself. The question at issue is there is no plus and minus, right? So he's saying there's the question. He's saying there's a question unanswered about the positive and negative state of these sensations. What I'm saying to him is, I personally am conscious. I personally experience consciousness. You will not ever, 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 ever convince me, okay, that broken legs are fun and cupcakes are obnoxious. You'll never, ever, 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 ever be able to contrive an arrangement of words that could ever make any logical sense out of the idiotic idea that when I'm miserable and having suffering, enduring it, that it is just as good as me being comfortable. It's an insane concept. It is as outrageous as saying something like water isn't wet, or there's no proof of it, or it hasn't been demonstrated. It's insane. As stated, the words are invented for this very purpose of pointing out that we wouldn't even have the designation of good and bad if it wasn't for the fact that we have good and bad feelings. So, and then he says there's no ought, and they use the word, these are preferential states. I mean, I guess if you have a preferential state, that would imply an ought, wouldn't it? Logically? Come on. This is silly. I mean, really, preferential state, and then you sit there and tell me there's no ought.
This is childlike treating of language, right? Oh, we called it good, we called it bad, therefore the ought comes from that, because everybody calls it, I call it.
So now he's mocking the idea of the distinguish, like when you distinguish something as positive or negative, or productive and destructive, efficient, inefficient, good, bad, that he's just mocking it as if we just arbitrarily, again, establish that somehow the bad feelings are, the unpleasant, repulsive, repugnant feelings are sensibly considered a bad thing worthy of prevention, and that the pleasant feelings, the relief from the negative feelings, is a good thing. That's not a sensible, rational distinction. That's not something you come to by logical deduction through your own conscious experience.
The deeper question is whether it is, whether there is such a, whether my deeming it bad.
Again, how could this be the deepest question? I just don't understand how you could be sentient and have a deep question about, or any confusion regarding good and bad. I mean, your sensations scream these things. They don't whisper them. They say it really loud. And it's just outrageous for you to sit there and tell me that you can't figure it out, that this is some deep question. Just making a distinction between horrific pain and comfortable pleasantness.
A whole majority deeming it bad makes it bad. Whether
there we go, the majority rules. Oh, I mean, that's just, again, that's not logical. That's the popularity fallacy. It's got a fallacy call named after it. I mean, you know, where are you going to go with that? I mean, you fail before you start.
That the ought exists there, and when you realise that it's just a majority definition.
Well, again, I'm just not interested. I'm interested in evidence and logic. I'm saying there's a ton of evidence, and I'm saying I've experienced it, so it's the kind of evidence you're just not going to be able to discount. I've personally experienced sentience, you crazy bastard. And I'm telling you, I can tell the bad and good difference between feelings. God, you're so fucking insane. Anyway, till later. Alright, we're at 22:31, and this gets more and more tedious. There's just no, there's nothing here. There's no argument to really have. I say something like, the bad is intrinsic to the sensation. He just says, I'm just saying. He just goes on a tirade about me using the phrase, I'm just saying. Like somehow I'm not allowed to say, I'm just saying, to make it clear that I'm just saying this. And if you don't get it, then you don't get it. But I don't know what to say to you. This is fundamental. Bad that does not have ought. Yeah, so his example of a bad that doesn't have ought tied to it is him committing suicide, which, yeah, I don't know how that could possibly be a bad, right? You win, we win. Gee, yeah, everybody wins. Yeah, that's probably it. So I just ended this part by saying, I'm not saying the universe has a brain, and I'm not saying the universe needs to appreciate value. Value exists whether it's appreciated or not, whether there's an intelligence to see it.
You're abstracting and saying there is some abstract idea of pure logic which can see it.
So now he said, I've just said that some abstract of pure logic can see it. How can it see it if it doesn't do the logic? I'm saying our brain can do logic. We can see it. Duh! And I've explained what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is I'm sentient. I have these terribly awful, repugnant sensations and then these less repugnant, pleasant sensations. And that I recognize that the other humans are doing the same thing. And I recognize that many of the mammals are doing the same thing. And I'm merely pointing out that my brain should think they're all worthy of comfort. Because comfort is the objective. Seems logical to me.
This we can metaphor to the universe. This is what it means to say, that this creation, is intrinsically bad or good or valuable, etc. You have to.
The creation of sentience has fundamentally created value in the universe. That's what I can't. What's the logical counter argument that torture doesn't matter? Well, that's an insane argument, in my opinion. That it is not intrinsically and fundamentally bad. That the whole word bad was invented to describe these kinds of things that cause harm and pain and suffering to sentient beings. We wouldn't have the word bad if there weren't sentience to endure bad experience. Fuck.
Put meat on the bones of this word intrinsic to your creation. I notice more and more that you stay away from the idea of a created thing.
I don't even know what that means, but obviously I don't stay away from the concept that things have properties. Airplanes have properties. We invented airplanes. They have properties. They do things that are unique to airplanes. We were created by biology. We do things unique to sentient beings. One of those things is we feel good and we feel bad.
But to say it's intrinsic, I guess, is to establish, it's intrinsic property. You have to detail how it's intrinsic.
Well, again, I can't do that. I've already explained how that's just not possible. Alright, that's why I had the computer that was going to come into the universe, the intelligence that was going to arrive in the universe. I had that intelligence taste the pain of the animal in the bear trap, because it can't really be understood without tasting it. They have to experience it to know what it is. You cannot describe pain to something that cannot feel pain. It's just not possible to explain a feeling. It has to know what a feeling is. I have been informed by being sentient to what feelings are, and they are perfectly consistent with this concept of good and bad.
It's intrinsic to who?
It's intrinsic to the function. And it's completely consistent with the biological mechanism, which is to create aversion and attraction. And so the words aversion and attraction are perfectly consistent with good and bad. It's all consistent. It all adds up.
To what?
Oh, there we go. To what again? To what? Again, so it doesn't do something. The thing with its arm in the bear trap isn't doing something by experiencing. It's got to wait for somebody to show up and go, to whatting. I'm now the to whatter. Yeah, and I will tell you whether your arm hurts. Yeah, right. Fuck. Ugh, geez, this is so pathetic. So anyway, he says fails to be logical to. Anyway, so he's saying that there's a failure in the logic, and that somehow I need to admit there's a failure in this simple logic that I experience sensation, I understand what sensations are through that experience, and that I understand that my sensations come in this value flavors, and that and all I'm saying is the other people are having value flavored sensations, and he's saying that logic fails. I don't understand how it fails. I don't know what its counter argument. What's your rational alternative argument? Again, give me the argument that says suffering, torture is not intrinsic, fundamentally, in and of itself bad. Explain to me how suffering isn't in and of itself bad. So he just basically says bad doesn't happen like a supernova. Yeah, it does. Exactly like a supernova. It's an event that takes place in the universe. Yeah, it is. Suffering. Duh. So here's the point where he's ragging on me. He's saying, well, why are you getting so pissed off? Why are you getting so angry? So I explain why I'm angry. It's because, yeah, I don't think value is subjective made-up crap. I think it's actual. And that there's actual bad stuff happening. And yes, I understand that you must do something about bad. And so that's why I'm upset, is because obviously there's a bunch of bad happening that shouldn't be happening. And then he'll sit there and say, it matters to you. Well, yeah, of course, I'm just telling you. Whether you think my opinion is just subjective crap or not, I'm just explaining why it means something to me. I'm just informing you it means something to me because I don't have some made-up fairy tale notion of value. I think it's the truth. And thinking it's the truth and thinking really bad stuff is happening is going to disturb your brain if you have any kind of rational capacity to do rational cognition.
This is my whole point again, that you're thinking it, yeah? That and those thoughts, as you acknowledge in your discussion of free will video, your words come from you. You don't know where they're coming from. Yeah, you say it's intelligent seeing, but how do you know it's intelligent seeing without providing the logic of said intelligence?
Well, again, the logic again. Where again? What is the flaw in this logic? I know the difference between good feelings and bad feelings, and I just extend the logic the little tiny bit to say the other feeling organisms are doing the same fucking thing, and the bad they're feeling is just as bad as the bad I'm feeling, and that's all. Wow. Too bold a logical step, huh?
They're just ideas coming to you, and they're coming from you, I allege, through empathy.
Well, you allege. You can allege anything you want to. You can lie all you want to. Fuck you. That's all I got to say to that. Where's the empathy needed? Where no empathy required. Do unto others as have others do unto you. No empathy required. Just an acknowledgement that there's nothing productive in breaking something to fix something. Yeah, there's just no victory in breaking something of equal value to put together something of the same value or less value. No accomplishment. Waste is what that's called. All right. Time for dinner and shower and such. We'll see how things go. More later, maybe, possibly. I mean, I started. I probably have to finish it. Oh, man, what's the point? Wasting paper, taking idiotic notes. It's just too stupid. Yeah, I think we'll finish up here for this video. He's posting another video. I mean, there's a point where you just say, there's just no point. I mean, this isn't that complicated, and I've been over it and over it. So we'll just play this bit and be done with it.
And as a consequence.
He's trying to just trash us because we don't see the world the same as him. Because...
Yeah, that's what people do. That's right. If you identify somebody like a rapist or a serial killer or even Republicans, yeah, you say they're nasty, evil, selfish motherfuckers. You label them, you identify them, and you hate them because of the damage they do, the exploitation, the harm.
Because he's all, you know, just to unbelievable degrees. Got empathy with suffering animals.
Right, so it's an unbelievable degree to recognize when you see a baby elephant getting eaten alive by lions. It's unbelievable degree of empathy. You know, that's just an insane amount of empathy that might hurt you inside a little to watch. The idea of injecting a perfectly healthy chimpanzee with cancer, it shouldn't bother you. It's unbelievable that somebody could find that irritating or obnoxious to think about, and to realize that that's what people are doing, because they're narcissistic, selfish cunts. No other reason.
Beyond any conception, we're all evil, and we're all evil because we don't accept his idea.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, yeah, I'm describing the truth. You're describing your fantasies. You're telling me I should take your fantasies seriously as a subjective, made-up story. I'm saying, no, this is what I have identified as the facts. The evidence seems obvious to me. Again, where have you presented some evidence that the beastie brain is not capable of full sensation? Where have you proven that chimpanzees do not feel nut crush exactly the same way I feel it? Where's your evidence? Where's your proof? Oh, that's right, you have no such proof, and every bit of evidence points to exactly the opposite theory. So I guess I have absolutely no reason to do anything but despise your ignorance, despise your propaganda, despise your very existence.
But that is the...
Okay, so enough. We'll move on to the next one. Blah, 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 blah. This is a waste of time. I mean, really, there's nothing logical here. There's nothing to argue. He wants me to become a subjectivist? I don't understand. Why would I do that? Why would I waste my time exchanging fantasy stories with other people? If you have a theory of reality, let me hear it. If you don't have a theory of reality, yeah, go talk to somebody else. I'm not interested. Okay, till next time.